Greetings, friends! Your cartoonist pal Stan here with a brand new episode of Random Encounters, the show where I use random encounter tables, like the kind you find in tabletop role playing games, such as Dungeons and Dragons, together with input from you, folks who happen to be in the live chat room at the time. Or if you can't make the live show, you can always send me suggestions in an email or comments on the show. I'll filter those in. But the folks who are live in the chat room get to participate now as we take a couple of random encounter tables. A table of who the creatures, characters, monsters from D&D, and what's, situations, jobs, strange interactions, and we mash the two together and use those as prompts to do some impromptu or improv cartooning. Just kind of draw up the idea, and I talk about what I'm doing drawing wise. I'm talking about what I'm thinking creative wise. We share ideas for possible gags or what might go in the drawing, and we have a lot of fun. And that's what this is all about. It's all about the fact that drawing is fun. I do it for a good chunk of my living, and I also do it just because it's fun, because I like it. On my free time, I'll just draw, and I encourage you to do it. I've been actually watching several uh, podcasts, or listening to podcasts and watching some vidcasts where folks are talking about the fact that until about the age of 7 or 8, everyone can draw. Everyone can draw, and it's only at about the age 8 where suddenly this idea of "I'm not good enough" creeps in, and suddenly you stop. Those of us who have succeeded, now we may have been pretty hot stuff at the age of 8, but that really wasn't great, like in the real adult world. What we didn't do was stop drawing. We kept on doing it, and we kept the fun, the same fun we always had. We brought forward, and that's how we developed our drawing skills. So, if you really want to get better at drawing, if you always sit around and think, "Man, I wish I could draw," the way to do it is to draw. Just you got to get the crappy drawings out before the good drawings will come. Come on, do some crappy drawings with me. All right, let me grab my iPad Pro. I do all my drawing here on an iPad Pro with the app Procreate and an Apple Pencil. And not sponsored. None of those are sponsors of the show. Don't have any sponsors on the show. Always open to talking about getting some, but I don't have any. Let's have a look here. I'll press the button. Press the magic button. We come over and we see these are the encounter tables that we're going to be using tonight. So, what does that mean? Well, it means it's time to roll some dice. So let's go over to the die roller, and we're going to roll some dice. Roll them, 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 roll them. And we got a 1 on the white die and a 4 on the black die, which gives us a fire giant and cherry blossoms. Cherry blossoms are a new addition to the table, kind of a spring thing. You may have seen that in the opening card illustration, my thumbnail cartoon that I do each week. This week was a spring themed one. I had some cherry blossoms in there because round about this time of year is when in Japan it's cherry blossom season, kind of sweeping across the nation, south to north. And if you're in an area in the world where there are cherry blossoms, the chances are, depending on what latitude you're at, chances are good they're either blooming now or they're about to bloom in the next few weeks. A sign of spring, a sure sign of spring. Hello, Matthew Snow. Thank you for joining. We've got a fire giant and cherry blossoms as our first drawing cue. So, let's grab the pencil and get everything set. We're on the right layer. We've got the right color. I like to do my sketching in blue. And all right. So I'm trying to remember the Japanese word for cherry blossom party, and I'm not remembering what it is. In my head, it keeps coming hanabi, but hanabi are fireworks, and hana also is a word, and that's which literally means flower fire, and so it's the same hana flower. Oh, like my new hat? I'm wearing. I usually don't wear a hat, but I got this week. I was looking at the website for the Double A New York Mets Double A team in Binghamton, New York, which is where I went to college, and because I had heard that let's see how to best tell this. So in recent years, it's become um, common for uh, minor league baseball teams to have alternate names for their team. Uh, they have usually it's something associated with where the town where they're at. And very often the minor league teams in the well, let's take a step back. Um, Hanami, yeah. That's right, Hanami, Hanami. Japanese, I tell you, makes me crazy. Often because it's so, not because it's so complicated, but because it's so unspecific, and so many things sound alike. Anyway, I was saying the uh, baseball teams, the minor league baseball teams will uh, take their main name often from the team that they are associated with, though that's becoming uh, less frequent too. But they have these alternate team names. So it's basically it's a special once a summer they'll have a special weekend where they use an alternate name. Why? Well, mainly it's to sell more merch. Uh, they usually come along with some kind of sponsorship, of course, which helps the team. But they also do playful things that they probably didn't want um, their whole team to be named after. Uh, the problem with this is I don't like the team's main name. The Binghamton team right now, they used to be the Binghamton Mets because they're a New York Mets farm club. But in the renaming them to something that they could merchandise themselves, they made themselves the Rumble Ponies. Rumble Ponies, because Binghamton, New York, is one of its claims to fame is that it claims to be the carousel capital of the world. They have a lot of carousels in the town that were built in the early 20th century. And there's some very nice carousels. Anyway, one of their alternate names is based on a food that's popular in that area called a speedy. All this is leading up to what is on my hat. What is on my hat is a speedy is a marinated and and grilled meat. Stick it on skewers, you grill it, you eat it on a slice of Italian bread. And what we have here is a speedy with a baseball bat as a skewer and a slice of Italian bread. And so their alternate team name is the Southern Tier Speedies, Southern Tier being the name for the section of New York that Binghamton is in. All right, I think we're gonna have so what we're gonna have here is fire giants inadvertently lighting the cherry blossom tree on fire. That's the drawing. Man, I am just nattering away tonight. Come on. There we go. So we'll jump up to the lines layer. Put a lot of details on this particular one, more than I usually do. I was feeling it. We've got a fire giant, so his hair and his beard are going to be flames. But gotta be careful. I'm going right for that without even noticing the fact that I put the arm down there too. All right. I think what I'm noticing, what I'm doing here is because I put so much detail in it, I'm really kind of letting the the drawing just happen. I often say while we're doing this that you have to not be so worried about how good or bad it is and just let it draw. And then I don't model that. I then care very much about what I'm drawing. So this is something I thought about, and now I find myself just doing. Is I'm diving in and drawing, putting some lines down, and we'll see how it turns out. Doesn't really matter. Hello, Michael Pastor. How are you? I'm trying to get this idea that his hair is fire. The hair is on fire. And then we're going to just kind of do a lumpy little tree. One of the tricks to doing trees is to decide what the shape you want the leaves to be is, and then do a quick. So here I'm doing my leaf shape of choice is just that kind of quick little leaf like that, almost like a feather. And so I do these. It allows me to do these quick little rolls, and that's the shape of the tree. But there are times when I've decided that the shape of the tree, the flower, the leaf is going to be more like this. And then I wind up coming in and doing shapes that are more angular, more like a maple tree. And we're going to have a guy just sitting at the picnic. I really am thinking about a Japanese cherry blossom party in what I've chosen to draw in this particular drawing. Yeah, I definitely made this a little more detailed than I often do. Which isn't so much a problem. We can draw whatever we want. But it does take more time. The main reason why I keep things simple is I want to get 3 drawings done in about an hour and a half or less. It's been a while since we did less, though. Let's see. Have I ever done my family tree research? I think I might be related to Rube Goldberg. I don't believe I am related to Rube Goldberg. There are a few uh, moderately famous people in my family tree. None of them are Rube Goldberg. I had a great uncle who was a band leader for Jerry Lewis, a pretty well-known band leader for Jerry Lewis when he was doing his uh, mid and late career Vegas uh, and touring shows. All right, let's turn off the sketch layer and see what that looks like. Um, I think the most famous from a cartooning perspective. I guess it's not true. I do have a cartooning connection, and a pretty big one too. Uh, I don't know. In fact, I don't even know why I said that because yeah, I've got a really big cartooning connection, and that is that a great uncle um, once removed, I believe, was James Thurber, the famous humorist and cartoonist for the New Yorker. All right, that's looking pretty good. Let's grab some colors and fill that in. Uh, yeah, so although I mean, you, it's harder to see a Thurber influence in what I draw. I don't think there really is one. Not I love his stuff, but it's not. Um, that's not a my style, and is not particularly Thurber-esque. One of my um, one of my grandmother's cousins was a pretty well-known illustrator in his day. I only know his stuff because she showed it to me. Not someone who made it onto the large scale kind of famous illustrators who everyone would know list, but definitely was a working illustrator and was well known and well regarded in his day. But again, none of them are Rube Goldberg. Poor little guy. He's just trying to have fun. Really not so little. Poor big towering guy. He's just trying to have some fun. Hmm. And now we're going to grab some pink. And increase the size of the brush so we can do some pink trees. Noting that there's going to be some fire in that tree. Okay. Well, let's come back here and put the trunks in too before I go in and try and capture all the leaves floating around. I remember going to the Hanami parties when I was living in Japan. Just parks filled with cherry blossoms, and it really was like this. It was just a sea of pink, with with pink petals in the air everywhere. Now, it being March, it wasn't always. Some years it was a little chilly, but there's a lot of drinking associated with the cherry blossom parties, so people felt warmed up pretty quickly. There we go. Um, Tina says he looks cute. Thank you, Tina. Let's put some green in on the grass. I think we're going to call this one just about done. Little bit, maybe, of highlighting on our giant. Poor fire giant. He just wants to have fun. Fire giants just want to have fun. Get out, have a nice cherry blossom viewing party, but no, he's got to set everything on fire. See, I look at him, and again, because I'm thinking Japanese fire blossoms, I'm thinking that he's saying "Gomen nasai." I'm sorry. Drop the color back just a little. Yeah. All right, and we'll come back to the Linus layer and put a stand in the corner, because I think we have successfully done a fire giant and cherry blossoms. Oops. There we go. Done! Drawing one, done. Let's see what's going on. I saw that Tina showed up in the chat. Who else is here? Michael says, one of my ancestors' claims to fame is great granduncle was George Washington's press secretary. Ooh. It's a military secretary to General Washington at Valley Forge, which we were at, which is right where Page, Philadelphia Area Gaming, Valley Forge. You should have gone to see if your uncle left anything at one of the hotels for you. Never mind. Trying to figure out my baseball cap. All right, so yeah, you missed that. I started the show talking about it. It is a speedy. Speedy is a kind of, look it up. Spiedie is a kind of marinated grilled meat which is popular in the southern tier of New York, where I went to school, I went to college, and the baseball team, which is an affiliate of my beloved New York Mets, every season they have a couple of games where they change their name to the Southern Tier Speedies. And I saw this hat, and I had to have it. Had to have it. There's another hat I saw from one they did last year, another mix-up name. They do a different name each year, again, so they can sell more merch. I'm pretty sure is the underpinning of why that is. I've started a small collection of hats of minor league teams, but almost always it's the minor league team's alternate name rather than the minor league team itself. Although there are some pretty cool ones of that too. Anyway, that's what's on my hat. It's a speedy. So it's this skewered and grilled meat. Only instead of a skewer, it's a baseball bat, and it's on a piece of Italian bread, which is how you traditionally eat speedies. All right. Let's see. Let's have another sip of this Diet Cola. Michael asks if I got any moon mammoth stuff, and I have not. I have not yet, but they are on my list. I love what they did there, and in the piece on the that John Oliver did, which culminated in the moon mammoths. Why is this happening? Go there. Go there. There we go. He talked about the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, which is a team that is also the Southern Tier Speedies. So Stan collects baseball team caps, and Jeff Grubb collects state coins. I suppose Jeff is more thorough about collecting state coins than I am about minor league baseball caps. But as far as things go, yeah, I'm willing to own that as a factoid about myself. I collect minor league team baseball caps. All right, here we go. Let's change group 1. Put on group 2. Reset the brush to the starting position I like. Come back and turn on the encounter tables. One more sip. We started with a fire giant and cherry blossoms. Let's see what the dice have for us in drawing number 2, shall we? We'll come over here and roll the dice. Roll them, 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 roll them. And we've got, no. We've got a 5 and a 6. I didn't like that one because we came up with 1 again. So I hit it one more time. 5 and a 6. That's a Werewolf Doomscrolling. Werewolf Doomscrolling. Okay. Turn that off and come over here. You see the Doctor Who scarf has been on there for a while. I haven't rolled that number. In fact, I moved it around a little, I think. I have to check that. If I haven't, it's time to move it, because whatever that number is isn't getting rolled. All right, here we go. We're gonna have our werewolf here. I'm thinking of gags here. Right, I'm kind of stuck on like this tying in the rhymingness of doom and moon. So he's kind of full moon doom scrolling. Wow, that whole thought in my I wasn't even sure. I wasn't even thinking um, intentionally. Just started thinking about putting in another character, and suddenly it was turning into a Hanna Barbera, like Augie Doggy and Doggy Daddy. That's what I got here. Any ideas on exactly how we might gag that up? That didn't sound right. You know what I meant. He's full moon scrolling. What we got going on here? Back in my day, we didn't just we didn't just post. Let's see. I think I'm gonna move this guy's hand down to be on his hip. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. I'm gonna be pointing a finger accusingly at his pop. I don't know what the joke is, but I'm finding the drawing itself amusing. All right, let's come in here and again we'll put some bushes in the background. All right, got the drawing done quickly this time. Let's fiddle around with what the gag is. Well, I guess I still have to do the coloring. Let's turn the sketch off. I may not be done. Let me not get too far ahead of myself. Oh, I see we got some stuff in the chat. That's good. That's good. All right. So we'll go to the color section. We'll come back to our gloaming brush again. A light color here for the fur. like so. Same thing. Brush a little smaller for our junior, our werepup. Let's see, maybe that's a good color for a shirt. And pants. We'll have a blue shirt and brown pants over here. We got a lighter color for inside the ears. Look at them coming out nice. Not bad for 10-minute werewolves. And then, you know what? I think I'm going to, unlike last time, I'm going to take the time to put the background color on a different layer, because it just frees me up to worry less about mistakes. There we go. Although, tell you one of the things I am going to do. Well, not yet. First, we got to get some night sky. I'm going for a I'm going to use a purple. I'm going to erase the places that I went a little too far with it. Again, because I have it on another layer, I can do that pretty easily. And, of course, over the moon, which will not be purple. In fact, I'm already pretty sure I want to go back in to the lines layer and change those from black lines. So let's do that. Let's come back to the lines layer. I'm going to alpha lock, which means now it will only allow me to draw on layers that have already been drawn on. So I'm going to use a color that's like the rest of the moon. It's going to make the whole moon yellowish. There we go. Now, having put all that in, now let's take that background layer and fade that back just a bit. There we go. That's better. All right, let me see what's going on here in the chat. Why is Facebook showing me pictures of Wolfsbane? Back in my day, we didn't just post at it. They logged the Facebook group called American Werewolves in London. Maybe. I told you to stay away from that social media during the lunar eclipse. Every time there's one, it takes you a week to stop seeing pictures of the moon, and you can't change back. That's, you know what? Again, I was coming to this a very complicated idea that would, you could make a funny story out of that. Just looking at how many words it took you to write that, I think we're going to say it's probably a little too complicated a concept for one single panel cartoon. This is what you get for believing the profile pic. Pops. There's no way it's waning. All right, let's think a little. There's some funny stuff there. Nothing that hits me as a surefire winner. So I'm gonna come back here, back to the inking brush, and what do we got? Um, I can't think of anything. Um, I'm thinking we might just come back here and let's turn off the background color for a sec, and we might just have this guy going doom. It's just like he gets it wrong what it means. And this guy's saying, like, put the phone down. Ralph. Just put the phone down, Ralph. That's not funny. That's not it. So you've seen the news then. That's I told you. Man, this even is getting super wordy in my head. Okay. Let's get rid of never. Check the news. On a full moon. Here we go. I'm gonna. You know what? This is not. This idea. The idea is in there, but it's not. This is not a winner. Never check the news on a full moon. All right, so we'll come back to line slayer. I think that the having him doom is kind of funny. Doom. But I don't think I got it either. Right? I'm always happy to tell you guys when you didn't get it, or you know what I mean. I'm always happy to give you feedback and say, that's not quite there. This one's not quite there either. No, that's gilding the lily all there. Never check the news feed during full moon. Again, I'm going to say didn't land that one. But it's what we got because I really don't want to spend too much time on this. All right, but one of the things I do have to do here is come in on the color layer and fill these balloons. Again, part of the joy of working on multiple layers. I don't have to worry about specifically fitting the color around them. I just fill those with white, and then it works out. All works out in the end. All right, so let's come back to the lines layer. Come down in the corner. Put a little stand, and we have a werewolf doomscrolling. That's 75%. 75, 80%. But fun. We had fun doing it. Michael, you are right. It's always better to give too much to work with than not enough. I feel bad sometimes when you guys give me something and I'm like, nah. Nah. Yeah, not funny enough for Stan. He only likes his own stuff. All right, let's clear up here. We will turn off round 2 and turn on round 3. Turn on the tables. Do one more and wrap it up. Get ready to head into the weekend. We struggled a little, or I struggled a little. Let's say we. I'm not going to put that on you. I struggled a little with our second one, which was a werewolf doomscrolling. We started with a fire giant and cherry blossoms. Let's go back to the dice and see what we get for our third and final prompt for this week. I'm going to roll it out. Come on, roll them, roll them. Roll, roll, and stop. We got a 6 and an 8. 6 and an 8. So that's a T-Rex Hitchhiker. Okay. Weirdly, I think that particularly for the what's, those are exact numbers I rolled last week because I know that I added Cherry Blossom, Doomscrolling, and Hitchhiker to the list this week. But I changed things around, so maybe it's not exactly the same number. But it's funny how, as you guys noticed, the Doctor Who scarf has been up there on the chart for, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks now and hasn't gotten rolled. And sometimes the new ones come in and the new ones just roll out. What else? Pogo Stick's been up there a while. Sage Magician's been up there a little while. Hitchhiker, I think, is new. But it's going to be gone next week because we're going to start drawing here. We have a T-Rex Hitchhiker. Okay. I was gonna make a Stegosaurus too, but I'm not sure I want to do that. In fact, I'm pretty sure I want to take that out of there for several reasons. But now the question is, undo that. Uh, so Michael, your first one, car zooms past hitchhiker. Did he have his thumb out? My thought is he is the the T Rex is saying, I don't think he can see my thumb. And that's why I was going to stick another dinosaur over here. Maybe we'll have a brontosaurus. And maybe the brontosaurus is saying, I don't think he can see your thumb. Maybe he can't see your thumb. Are you sure he can see your thumb? So we're going to take them and move them up a little on the page so that we can get in front of them and have cars zooming past. I'm terrible at drawing cars, y'all. I'll tell you that for nothing. I draw terrible cars. All right, so I think we're going to start with our dinosaurs here. So let's jump to the lines layer. Again, I'm making an effort to be less worried about drawing the best drawing I can do and just do something quick and fun. Because I push that as a theme of this show. And I think that as I said a little earlier, I think I don't model that enough. I say don't worry about it and then I worry about it. Far too much. So I'm trying to walk the walk. I'm not sure what's going to be on the sign. Right now I've got Triassic or bust on there. I thought about just putting Jurassic Park. It's kind of funny. Do I want that? Do I want he look sadder or just older? I don't know. All right, now I'm going to come back to the sketch later because I got to figure these cards out a little better. That's still terrible. But you get the idea. Again, I often say if you can draw something and people know what it is, then it's a successful drawing. And I think that by that measure, these are successful cars. People will get that that's what I'm trying to draw. Of course, anyone who knows a lick about drawing a car will tell me exactly why it's wrong. But all right. So I'm looking at this. I'm trying to figure out again how I'm going to phrase it. It's like I don't. Now, if I take the whole thing and move it up a bit and change the angle on the tail, we can add it in as a caption at the bottom. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Kind of New Yorker style. Let's just add a little bit of extra detail in here in the line drawings. Just a little bit. And we'll come to the color layer. Go to the gloaming brush again. No, nope, 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 nope. I'm getting away from that yellow. Let's just go for a lighter shade of the same color. Because I want the yellow to be the basis for our long-necked dinosaur. Like so. That's a little too much. We'll take a light blue, put a couple of stripes across it so that the sign has a little texture, or a little hint of texture. Anyway. And some colors for the cars. And then down at the bottom, I'm going to come in, I'm going to go and grab this. I'm going to add text. Let's see here. What do I want to do? I want to come here, and I want to make it Times New Roman. Size down around 30, I think. No, that's going to be too small. There we go. And the text is going to read. Yeah. Are you sure they can see they can see your thumb? Are you sure they can see your thumb? I don't think they can see your thumb. Thinking about it. I don't think they can see Sue. See your thumb. And then we'll come back here and change the size down to 35. How about 37? Yeah, there we go. That's it. No, it's not it. 32? There we go. 32 is it, apparently. I don't think they can see your thumb. And we'll hop up to the line slayer, back to the inking brush. We got the inking brush, we got the black ink, and we're going to put a stand somewhere here on this car. So we've got dinosaur or T-Rex hitchhiking. Drop the intensity on the color just a wee bit. I don't think they can see your thumb. Yeah, you know what? I think this has been a week of good enough is good enough. Again, trying to model that better. Rather than worrying about hitting it out of the park or getting the drawing 100% right, let's just have some fun. This is funny as it is. Not as funny as it could be. But there it is. We got ourselves a T-Rex hitchhiking. Cheers. Okay. Well, that was a fun evening, wasn't it? Ah. All right. Let's come back here. We're set here. Gonna close that up. And we'll do an outro and get out of here. Don't worry about hitting it out of the park. I'm wearing a minor league hat. Yeah, well, you know, if I want to get to the majors, you got to hit well in the minors. If you don't hit well in the minors, you never get your chance in the majors. That's all I'm saying. Actually, all I'm saying is it's good. Let's just have some fun. Okay, here we go. We've got ourselves here a T-Rex hitchhiking. That was our third prompt today. Our second one was a Werewolf Doomscrolling. And we started off the evening with a fire giant and cherry blossoms. Some interesting mixtures, some interesting drawing. You know what? I tell you, one of the things I did this week, I did a lot more backgrounds than perhaps I usually do. Just feeling a backgroundy day, so I did it. So that there was an evening of improv cartooning, and you know what? I had a good time. I hope you did too. Thanks to everyone who was in the chat. Michael Pastor, Matthew Snow, David Shepard, Tina was here for a while. Who else was here? That seems like it might be it. Dave Shepard. Yeah, Matthew Snow. I got him. That's everyone who has popped in and said hi that I saw. If I missed you, I apologize. For those of you that are maybe watching at home on watching your YouTube on TV, hey, look, I'm all big. Thank you for tuning in too. I appreciate you. If you're watching on replay, thank you. Glad you came out. Hope you had a good time. Leave me a note in the comments. In fact, everyone is watching. That's one of the things I can ask that you can help me out. When we wrap up the live stream, just take a minute or two and drop me a little note in the comment section. It very, very, very much helps to get this channel shown to new people so they will come and join us too. If that's, you don't have time for that, just click like. You can do that right now. Click like for this video. Give it a heart or a thumbs up or whatever it is. Do that. Again, the very, very big help. Much bigger than it might seem. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate seeing you. If you are going to be at GaryCon this weekend, say hi to my other friends that are there, because I'm not going to be there at all. I hope you have a good time. I will be back next week with a new episode of Random Encounters on Thursdays. On Thursday, next Wednesday, I will have some form of 50 Years in the Dungeon. On Sunday this week will be the last live sumo show for the current Harubasho, the Spring Grand Sumo Tournament that's going on in Osaka this week. It'll be wrapping up this weekend, and Sunday night we will do our finale for our coverage there. So check that out at sumoshow.com. That'll take you over to the Facebook page for the show. That's all I really got. Thank you all very much. I appreciate you being here. I'm glad to see you. See you next time. Until then.